directing this movie? Because I'm sure that is a daunting task.
Yeah, so a film of any size is always a daunting task as far as directing goes. But a period piece, I think, just adds a lot more complications because you have to think about timelines and set and costume design and all of those things in a way that you might not have to in, say, a romantic comedy that's set in New York. And so that was definitely a very engaged process, and it's a team sport. A lot of times the directors or producers get all the credit, but I'm only here, and able to even come on the show to say that we have a finished film because we've had 50 different people that were really integral on the crew, to make us all look good, and from casting to set design and grips and gaffers and everything else that makes this all go around. And so the whole team was just wonderful to work with. I've worked with Kevin Sorbo on a couple other projects in the past, including a film that we did called Rodeo Girl. It was on Netflix for a couple of years. And so it was great to kind of be in that driver's seat, directing the project, and just really thankful for the opportunity, especially in a year like 2020, to be able to get a film out.
Yes, indeed. We have got a tremendous guest with us today. He joins us live here in our big broadcast. Lucas Miles is with us. He is a fantastic director of this amazing film that we're talking about today here in our program. So, what's been some of the feedback and advanced feedback that you've gotten from folks that have seen this film ahead of the public?
Yeah, so it's with the year that we've had, typically you would have maybe early screenings and red carpets and all of those things, but most of those were canceled for us. And so, this project is a little bit more secretive and hush-hush than probably some of the others. I did get to screen it here recently with a smaller group, and had some positive feedback from that, which is always nice to hear. And I think what the audience is going to find is really a film that kind of gives them a unique look at the crucifixion of Jesus from the angle of the thieves on the cross. And so, when it intersects with the biblical story, we tried to be, really keep integrity with that story and be true to that story. But there's a lot of fictionalized, moments that around that really makes for a very interesting account of how it might have happened on that day. And so, I think that's one of the things that we hear from people is just how this story is woven together and kind of the what ifs of what if it happened like that. And that's really what we wanted to bring out in making this film. But you have themes such as forgiveness and redemption that I think are really important in the process.
Fantastic. So, as far as we hear about directors on movies all the time, what exactly do you guys do?
Yeah, so the producers are the ones that kind of tee up the project, make sure everything is put together. They put together the deals, both the business side of it as well as kind of bringing the team together. But really when you step on set, although the director works for the producer, it's really the director is there, much like the coach of the project, and to ensure that everybody is doing what they're supposed to be doing, specifically on the creative side of the film. So, a lot of it is solving problems. It's bringing about this creative direction, but you do so by solving problems that, are sometimes foreseen and sometimes, unforeseen. We had a lot of animals on this set. We had children on the set. We had a copperhead snake that was in the nativity scene, when we're filming with baby Jesus that we had to remove, down in Texas. So, it's always an interesting day on any film set, and honestly, I love my job, but there's a lot of people that work a lot harder than the director some days. We always try to outwork everybody, but I'm just thankful for the great team around me, and they make me look good.
Lucas Miles with us today. He joins us live here on our big broadcast. He has a brand new movie release, Tale of Two Thieves film. The Penitent Thief debuts December 22nd. It's going to be available on iTunes and Amazon. And so talk to me a little bit about working with Kevin Sorbo, because you've worked with him in the past on some other films.
I missed that last part. I'm sorry.
You're working with Kevin Sorbo on this film. Talk to me a little bit about working with him, because you've worked with him on some other projects.
You know, Kevin's a friend. He and his wife are just tremendous people. This is probably it's at least the second, it might even be the third thing that we've kind of done together. And I had the opportunity to be on his set for his film Let There Be Light, which he directed, and spent some time there with him as well. That came out, maybe a year or two ago. And Kevin and Sam are just awesome people. They've been in this business a long time. They're professional. They know what they're doing. They mentor a lot of people and just are great voices, especially for independent filmmakers. And so, any day getting to hang out with them. And Kevin's scene was just one of my favorites to direct. We were in a soundstage in Hollywood, and we kind of built. He plays King Herod in the movie, so he's a little bit of a bad guy, in this one, which is a unique role for Kevin in many ways. And we just had a great time filming in the studio for a couple days in Hollywood, and kind of built Herod's palace there inside of a soundstage, and then did all the external shots down in Texas at Capernaum Village. But yeah, Kevin's fabulous, and I think really shines in this movie.
So, where can people? Is it Amazon, iTunes? Is that the only options, or?
Yeah, so they'll be able to find this on multiple video-on-demand platforms starting December 22nd. And so you can actually pre-order it now on platforms like iTunes that allow you to pre-order in advance. But I would say Amazon Prime, iTunes, Comcast On Demand, and I'm sure there will be others. It's funny, as the filmmaker, sometimes you work with a distributor. We have both Cobalt Pictures and Vertical Entertainment distributing this film, and sometimes you don't always find out till it hits the studios, because they're making deals and making things happen, which is always exciting. And but I think people will continue to find it on more and more platforms as it rolls out.
Working in this industry of faith-based films, why are they getting to be more popular?
I think that's a great question. I mean, I think one of the reasons is they're getting better.
Yes.
For the longest time, some of the faith-based films that were being made, and I mean, kudos to them. They paved the way for the industry. They did really, some pioneering, for the rest of us. But the quality wasn't there, and a big part of that is because the budget wasn't there, and it hadn't been a tested market that investors really wanted to come on board yet. And so in the past, you had films like, God's Not Dead that Kevin Sorbo was in as well, or something like more recently, like I Can Only Imagine, which did very well at the box office. And that all of a sudden started having, people's, ears are kind of perking up, and people are really starting to pay attention, to what's there, knowing that this is something that the audience is going to come out for. And, our film is a modest budget level, but, I think that it's the audience is looking for more wholesome content. I think they're looking for good family values. I mean, it's getting harder and harder to turn on the TV anymore if you have kids, without blushing a little bit, or without having to turn the volume down or turn the channel because it's something
Yes.
they saw or heard. And so I think that, faith-based and family-based films are just they're very important, for this time for a lot of parents. And so we're happy to be part of that. This is actually my first sort of what I would call faith-adjacent movie that I've been part of. And ironically, my background is as a pastor, initially. And so I've done two other family films, Rodeo Girl and then Crowning Jewels, that's Jules, that are both great family films that have been on Netflix and Showtime and Redbox and different places like that. And so I was excited to branch into the faith market a little bit and try our hand at this. And we wanted to bring the audience something that they might not see on a typical faith movie and might be a little bit unexpected. And I think we accomplished that.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate you making time for us today and coming on and talking to us about this film, man. This is definitely a great experience. It's going to be a tremendous movie, and I'm looking forward to seeing it, my friend.
Absolutely. Thanks for introducing me to your audience, and look forward to connecting with some of them online.
Definitely. Well, before we let you go, how do we get a hold of you online, social media, all these things?
Yep, they can head over to Instagram at Mr. Lucas Miles. That's Mr. Lucas Miles. Also Twitter, Facebook at Lucas Miles, and they can always go to lucasmiles.org to find out more as well. And make sure and check out The Penitent Thief on December 22nd on Video On Demand.
Definitely. Well, thank you, my friend, and I will talk to you soon.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, my man. There he goes, Lucas Miles, and we are going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to figure it out. We are going to figure it out. We got more coming up on the other side.